All right, guys, good afternoon once more. We're talking about decimals and fractions and how we can convert between decimals and fractions. And the easiest way I've ever come up with to remember this is to use a little Mad Lib format here. You see that it says verb here, and we're going to fill those in just a second. I want to know if you have a guess for that first. You can pause here if you want to. I'm assuming you paused already, so I'm going to move on. It says the way you blank it is the way you will blank it. Nothing inappropriate, folks. Keep your comments to yourself. It says the way you say it is the way that you will write it. So I'll write that in there myself. The way that you say it. Sorry, I'm so sloppy. This is kind of a floppy board here. Try to fix this a little bit. Not too much. There you go. The way that you say it is the way that you will write it. And we'll use this in some of our examples here. We have 0 and 75 hundredths, and the way that you say that is the exact way that you're going to write it as an answer. (75/100). So you have the fraction bar separating the 75 and the 100. Can this be simplified? Of course it can. We'll get to that in just a moment. I want to work on some of the other examples first, get them into a fraction form, and then we can go ahead and simplify them. We have 2 and 100th. So 2 and 100th. You see that you don't have a 0 here, you have a 2, so that's going to turn into a whole number for that mixed number answer that we're going to generate. So the 2 is going to be basically carried over, and we have 100th. So 1/100. The place value is really important here, knowing your place values, because if you don't know that this is 100th, you're going to come up with the wrong fraction. You're going to come up with either maybe 1/10 or possibly 1/1000th, and that's going to be obviously wrong. So make sure that you know your place values, and we're going to emphasize that in class very often. We have another example right here. We have 0 and 759 thousandths, and that's going to dictate what our denominator is going to be. So we have 759/1000, and we have one more example here. We have 1 and 8/10ths. 1 and 8/10ths. That first place value is tenths. So I'm going to write that as 1 and 8/10ths. Just curious if you know which of these examples are going to need to be simplified, and I'll give you a chance to think about that for a second. The examples that we're going to simplify are going to be our 75 hundredths and our 1 and 8/10ths. It's not apparent that this is going to be a fraction that we can reduce or simplify. 2 and 1/100th is not reducible. You cannot simplify that. It is already in simplest form, as is this. So we put a little star next to this one because we're going to do a little extra work here. And my question to you is, what factors can divide evenly into 75 and 100? The answer is going to be that 5 works. I think also if you're thinking on a higher level, 25 will also work. If you think about money, how many quarters are in 75 cents? How many quarters are in $1? And that gives you a way of quickly and easily simplifying that particular fraction. So it may look like this. And we're showing balance by dividing both the numerator and denominator by the same factor. And 75 divided by 25 is 3. 100 divided by 25 is going to be 4. So the final answer here, the simplified answer, is going to be 3/4. 3/4. Again, you could take your time and divide both by 5, but you'd be left with 15/20, which can also be simplified. Again, it could be divided both by 5. In the interest of room, I don't have that room, so if you want to take a pause real quick and write that down if you want to, please feel free to do that. And if you have any questions about this or any other topic, don't be afraid to ask in class. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for feedback. Write down something you're not sure about, something that's not clear about the video or about what I'm saying or about what's going on in class, and let's talk about it in class. Let's talk about it outside of class. Let's talk about it whenever so that you can learn it. Just a little PSA for you. We have 1 and 8/10ths. We have written here 1 and 8/10ths. And what number can divide into 8 and 10 evenly? Looks like they're both even numbers, so that would be 2. So let's divide both of those values by 2. I bring my 1 over because the 1 hasn't changed. 8 divided by 2 is 10 divided by 2 is, And we have an answer of 1 4/5. If that's off camera or a little bit light, I apologize. But the answer is 1 4/5. And it looks like we have a pretty easy method by which we can convert decimals to fractions. If you have any questions, write them down. Write your notes down. Bring them to class. Ask questions. And I'll see you later.